you can't go wrong by getting into Vallet's works. But in Passport to Magonia, he quotes heavily from a gentleman named Walter Evans-Wentz. Now, he wrote a book in 1911 called The Fairy Faith in Celtic Countries. And he went around interviewing people in Ireland about their experiences with the fairies, the little people, the elementals. And now, when we talk about fairies, we're not talking about these benign little Tinkerbells that did good deeds for people. The fairies were kind of feared, and they could be beneficial, but they could have a negative side. And one of the names for them they had was the good people, because they did not want to accidentally incur their wrath. Well, Wentz went around interviewing people the same way we do nowadays when we talk to people about their UFO sighting or seeing a Bigfoot or whatever. So these were one-on-one encounters and in real time. These weren't just stories handed down from a great uncle. So, and some of the patterns, some of the parallels that he found were, well, of course, in modern day UFO experiences, we're very familiar with the concept of missing time. Well, that same element happened with encounters with the fairies. If you were taken by the fairies or if you encountered them, sometimes you would experience this time distortion. You thought you were just maybe spending a few minutes or a few hours with them, but a whole day might pass. But now usually instead of being whisked away to an unscheduled medical examination aboard some kind of a craft, right. You might be taken to what they thought was inside a mountain, or perhaps in the underground kingdom of the fairies. Of course, some abductees believe they were taken to an underground facility run by the aliens. But there are several other things, like in both cases you might encounter perilous. Both the UFO entities sometimes and the fairies would carry something like a tube or a wand, and you would find yourself unable to move. You could be what they call pixie-led, where there would be something, you would have some kind of urging, or something would guide you to a particular clearing or part of the forest, and then the fairies would take you. But that's fairly common in much of the UFO literature, where there was a case in, I think, British Columbia, where two women just got this urge to stop the car and go stargazing. Well, standing right there when they got out were a couple of grays. So there's several other things too, but there are many parallels between the two.